Change one project. Use sustainability. I'll show 3 projects you can copy-paste, a repeatable employer brief design process, a carbon-aware rubric you can drop into any endeavour, and 3 inclusive design moves that make green innovating genuinely equitable. Here's the promise. You do not need a whole new project or a sustainability expert on staff. You need one deliberately designed assessment that asks students to produce work that matters to employers, communities, and the planet. Let me show you 3 plans that you can copy and paste directly into your curriculum. Start small, think sustainable. Download Toolkit V1 today to kickstart your journey towards a more sustainable education. Employers are keen on seeing tangible outputs rather than essays. A year ago, a lecturer swapped a 2,000-word policy essay for a single client brief. Students had to create a practical energy-saving pilot for a local community centre and deliver a 2-minute video pitch, a 1-page business case, and a short reflective log. The result? The client implemented 2 student ideas, 3 students were hired for internships, and the entire cohort scored higher on engagement and applied problem solving than in previous years. The learning wasn't theoretical. It was produced, delivered and validated by real stakeholders. One brief rewired assessment into employability and sustainability. That's the level of leverage we're aiming for. 3 copy-paste assignments that teach sustainability, low cost, high impact. Below are 3 ready-to-use assignments. Each is adaptable to disciplines from social sciences to business, design, engineering, or health and social care. Each requires modest marking tweaks and minimal extra resources. Assignment A, Local Impact Audit, individual or pairs. Brief, conduct a rapid sustainability audit for a nearby organisation. Community centre, small business, school. Identify 3 practical, low-cost changes, behavioural, procurement, small tech, that would reduce environmental impact and increase community benefit. Deliverables. 1-page executive summary for stakeholders, max 500 words. 3-minute video pitch, smartphone OK. 800-word reflective log linking choices to theory. Learning outcomes. Apply sustainability frameworks. Translate evidence to practice. Communicate to non-academic audiences. Assessment criteria, headline. Evidence and diagnosis, 30%, clarity and use of data. Feasibility and impact, 30%, realistic actions with predicted outcomes. Communication, 20%, accessible executive summary and engaging video. Reflection, 20%, theory to practice linkage. Why it works. Students practice stakeholder-centered design, employers see produced briefs, communities benefit immediately. For the 2 assignments, write your interest in comment, and I will send you a link to a free PDF, Employer Briefs, co-design that maps to learning outcomes. Why employer briefs? Employers hire graduates who can produce work. Essays are signals. Produced work is proof. 6-step employer brief co-design template. Identify employer and priority need. 1-page problem statement. Agree learning outcomes. Map 2 to 3 module LOs to the brief. Define a deliverable. Concrete artifact, brief, prototype, lesson plan, report. Set scope and constraints, time, resources, ethical boundaries. Sign off and timeline. Employer signs a short MOU, assessment rubric agreed. Feedback loop. Employer to provide formative feedback during delivery and summative feedback on outcomes. Case study, anonymised. A sustainability consultancy needed community engagement methods for micro-renewables. Students produced 5 field-tested engagement leaflets and a 1-page toolkit. The consultancy piloted 2 leaflets and offered paid micro-internships to the best teams. Outcome: employer-validated outputs, student employment, real-world validation of learning outcomes. Tip: start small. 1 employer, 1 cohort, 1 deliverable. Scale once you have 2 validated pilots. CTA: want a ready-made employer pack. MOU, brief template, client feedback form. Download the employer pack and sign up for a pilot slot. Part 3, Carbon Aware Project, a simple rubric anyone can use. Carbon literacy gets complicated fast. Keep marking simple and teachable with a single transferable rubric table that can sit inside any module handbook. Sample rubric, carbon literacy, 0-3 scale. 0, no awareness, no recognition of emission sources or trade-offs. 1, basic recognition, identifies obvious emission sources, superficial mitigation ideas. 2, applied understanding, quantifies likely hotspots, proposes feasible mitigations with estimated impact. 3, systems thinking and equity, demonstrates life cycle thinking, quantifies reductions, integrates social justice considerations, and monitors risks. How to use it in marking: add carbon literacy as a 10 to 20% component of the assessment. Provide exemplars at each level, short descriptors. For non-STEM subjects, emphasize systems thinking and impact narratives rather than numbers. Example comment for marker. Level 2, good identification of hotspots. I recommend you include a brief monitoring metric, e.g. kWh saved month, to make the claim measurable. CTA. Want the downloadable rubric with exemplar feedback, comments and marking sheet? Grab the carbon rubric download. Part 4, Sustainability and EDI. 3 design moves that make green curricula fair. Sustainability isn't neutral. It can either reproduce privilege or amplify marginal voices. Design inclusively. Design move 1, multiple pathways to demonstrate learning. Offer 3 modes of submission: policy brief, comic style explainer, short film. This respects different literacies and allows neurodivergent or multilingual students to show strengths. Design move 2, community co-creation with safeguards. Partner with community groups as co-authors, not subjects. Budget small incentives and ensure reciprocity. Build ethics and safeguarding into the brief. Design move 3, translate sustainability into social justice questions. Ask who benefits, who pays, who is at risk. Make equity a marking criterion, e.g., considers differential impacts on marginalised groups. Illustrative story. A module invited a refugee advocacy group to co-define problems. Students from diverse backgrounds led workshops. The group adopted 2 student-designed outreach strategies. The course amplified marginalised voice, produced real impact, and deepened student civic learning. CTA joined the Inclusive Green Module workshop to co-design a brief with equity baked in. Final notes: scaling with confidence. Start small, 1 brief, 1 employer partner, 1 rubric tweak. Measure early outcomes: employer feedback, student engagement, recruitment outcomes. One brief can remake a module. It converts theory into produced outputs, teaches sustainability as applied practice, builds student portfolios, and opens employer pipelines. If you want the copy-paste assets, Toolkit V1, Employer Pack, Carbon Rubric, and an invitation to the Inclusive Green Module workshop, grab them below. They're designed to plug straight into your next teaching block. Download Toolkit V1, Pilot assets, quick assignments, marking sheets, exemplar feedback. Carbon rubric download, ready to drop into your module handbook. Change 1 brief, teach sustainability, produce outcomes that matter, the rest is background noise. This video shows how 1 pilot module successfully transformed employer needs into assessed student outputs. We co-designed briefs with employers that align directly with learning outcomes. Sign up for the Employer Pack and Pilot to join this collaborative initiative. Carbon literacy isn't just for engineering courses. It's a marking criteria that you can incorporate into social sciences and beyond. It's simple and effective. Download the rubric now and start integrating carbon literacy into your assessments today. Sustainability cannot be separated from inclusion. By designing green curricula with intention, we can amplify marginalised voices and make the learning environment more inclusive. Discover 3 key design moves to make your curriculum more inclusive by joining our upcoming Inclusive Curriculum workshop.